Straight ahead on 12 News, taking job training to where the workers are. Then, a hard goodbye for Maple Grove Senior High.
His heart and soul is invested in this building.
A favorite with students and staff retires. But first, Leanne Sargent plans to stay on the Maple Grove Council.
Unfortunately, I made mistakes that I am living with.
Even though members call for her resignation. 12 News starts right now. Longtime Maple Grove Council member Leanne Sargent tells the council she plans to stay on.
Sargent was sentenced after being convicted on a gross misdemeanor earlier this month for financially exploiting her father. And at the Maple Grove Council meeting earlier this week, Sargent apologized for her actions. She admitted making mistakes, but says she plans to finish out her term on the council. And several council members asked for her resignation.
I would like to take this time to apologize to the mayor, council members, staff, and residents with many comments that occurred by the media frenzy on my actions. I apologize for the embarrassment of the city. Unfortunately, I made mistakes that I am living with. One side of the case was told.
You must commit yourself to work on behalf of this city. You must demonstrate to its employees, to the council, and most importantly, to our residents, that you can successfully and efficiently and effectively do your job. If not, you must resign.
I am far from neutral on this, and you know that. I'll renew my request to you tonight. Please immediately resign your position on the Maple Grove City Council.
Sargent says she will retire if she decides in the future that she cannot be effective on the council. The council voted to censure Sargent and requested her resignation, but it has no authority to go beyond that. Sargent was sentenced to 4 months in the county workhouse.
After 9 months of negotiations, the Robbinsdale School Board has approved a 2-year contract for the district's teachers. The contract calls for a 2% salary increase each year and an increase in health insurance contributions. Almost 1,000 teachers in the districts have been working without a contract since last July. Last week, the teachers union voted overwhelmingly in favor of the new deal. The contract will be backdated to July of 2013 and it'll go through June of 2015. There's a job training program that's all about bringing technical education to where the workers are, and that's especially important for those in the manufacturing sector.
Now, thanks to a $3 million grant from the federal government, Hennepin Technical College has more resources to help manufacturing workers expand their skills and create opportunities to put other people to work. Delane Cleveland explains.
This is a big day for us.
Educational opportunities at Hennepin Technical College can take on many forms.
Particularly in the areas of machining, welding, automated controls.
Friday, dozens gathered to celebrate the college's latest innovation.
Without further ado, I guess I'll snap the ribbon here.
A virtual manufacturing lab.
Come on in. The whole idea with this lab is to increase availability to manufacturing education.
Oh, that's great.
Hey! The lab features hands-on simulation technology for students to do things such as virtual welding.
I went right across, and this time I was almost straight.
And virtual manufacturing.
We're just adding to our arsenal with this simulator-based equipment.
Hennepin Tech has plans to open similar training centers in other parts of the Twin Cities. That'll make it easier for students so they don't have to travel all the way up to Brooklyn Park.
I want to deliver something that the consumer wants. Consumer being the student.
That's especially important for employers such as the Toro Company in Shakopee.
The technology changes all the time.
Doug Miller says many Toro employees have to constantly brush up on their skills.
All of our employees virtually have to travel up here, and if they can create this virtual lab for us down there, then we can get those needs fulfilled at that South Metro Eden Prairie campus.
Meantime, the virtual lab is designed to help anyone.
They're returning vets, they're currently employed, they're unemployed.
With an interest in manufacturing.
Having people employed, doing a job they love, benefits everybody.
In Brooklyn Park, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
The sites currently under consideration for virtual manufacturing labs include Eden Prairie, Buffalo, and North Minneapolis.
It is a big step for backers of medical marijuana as a Senate committee approves a bill with the clock ticking on the legislative session. The legislation sponsored by DFL Senator Scott Dibble would allow those suffering from conditions such as cancer and epilepsy to access medical marijuana. The bill still must clear 2 other committees before it could even reach the Senate floor, but after repeated rallies from supporters, some with children with chronic health conditions, this is the first time that the bill has made it to a committee for vote. Meantime, the House passes legislation that many Democrats say will protect consumers from predatory payday lending.
We're putting a cap on the number of loans that a consumer can take out to stop the cycle of debt, to stop the cycle of keeping Minnesotans in poverty.
If the bill becomes law, one of the things it would do is limit payday lenders from lending money to those who have taken out 4 loans in the last year. Payday loans are short-term loans with high fees due usually on payday, or the customer can take out a new payday loan to repay the old loan. Critics say the practice leads to a never-ending cycle of debt for the poor. But several local Republicans say the bill will drive customers to cross state lines or seek out other channels where they can get loans quickly, but with less protections than offered in Minnesota.
I'd be worried about your constituents, because instead of giving them options, you are putting them into the back alleys of this state or another state or onto the internet. Members, vote no.
The state Senate still needs to consider its version of the bill. More than 40,000 people are expected this weekend for the annual Minnesota Horse Expo.
A Maple Grove man has volunteered at the St. Paul event for more than 20 years. In today's Weekend Showcase, he tells us about all the activities that you can find there.
If you have any interest in horses, the State Fairgrounds is the place to be this weekend.
Big event is finally here.
In addition to a rodeo and horse show, more than 400 vendors will fill the barns with everything from new boots to saddles and other gear.
You can buy anything from a tractor to a pair of socks.
Daryl Mead of Maple Grove has been a volunteer at the Expo since 1990. He says it has something for everyone.
We have pony rides for the kids. There's a huge kids area.
Visitors of any age, however, can expect one big change this year.
If you come to this year's Horse Expo, you may notice there are more empty stalls. That's because there's a horse virus outbreak, and they've had to limit the number of horses that come to the event. However, there are still plenty of fun activities for kids and adults.
He just wants to be a horse. He's not a machine.
Richard Winters of Reno, Nevada is one of this year's exciting new additions. He'll be doing demonstrations, including a session about training a horse without any equipment.
Because a lot of people have seen things on the movies or the show where the horse is running with the person. It looks so glamorous and so romantic, but how do we get started with that?
In addition to all you can learn at the Expo, volunteers like Daryl say visitors who attend are helping to make a larger impact on the industry.
We have built, with the proceeds that we've earned from the Horse Expo, we have built a number of horse camps around the state and maintain a lot of the trails. So that's why I do what I do.
In St. Paul, I'm Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
The Horse Expo runs through Sunday at the fairgrounds, and for information about the event, you can go to our website, 12.tv. And just to note, the horse virus that's affecting this year's Expo does not affect humans, so there is no health threat if you attend. Well, coming up, it's been a hard winter for people and plants, and we have some expert advice on dead branches that may actually bounce back.
And then a little bit later in sports, hear from the coach of the newly merged Armstrong Cooper boys hockey program.
But first, a check of your AccuWeather forecast. It's springtime, but not everything is blooming like you might expect.
Some evergreens are looking brown instead of green. Reporter Sonia Goen goes in the garden to show us how to fix this problem.
It does feel good to get back out here.
Mike Hamilton took some time off of work to clean up his Brooklyn Park yard.
I said I'm going to work in the yard today because I know ain't nobody going to come out here and disturb me.
But he's not too happy with the way his evergreen bushes are looking.
I got one over there showing a little bit more brown. I got one between these two here. It's not brown, but it's gray.
He's not the only one with evergreens that don't look too green.
I've been here 15 years. This is the first time I ever seen them where they didn't come back hardy.
Just look around this Edinburgh neighborhood and you can see a lot of brown bushes and trees.
This is just due to a long, cold winter.
The experts call it winter burn.
This is caused by drying. Bright, intensely sunny days coupled with hard winds are going to take the moisture out of the needles.
Homeowners can bring the bushes and trees back to life by watering them when the ground thaws.
Then just water, water, water right up until frost.
But if your evergreens are completely brown, you might be out of luck. Mike has one of those bushes.
Pull out my landscape drawing. I want to see what type of evergreen it is. It's got to go. It's no ifs and buts about it. It's like the man said, got to go.
Despite the loss, Mike is just glad to be outside, working in the yard.
Does it feel good to be back outside after 6 months inside? I couldn't ask for a better day.
In Brooklyn Park, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
I want to say amen. The DNR recommends people wait to prune their trees or bushes because you could get rid of live buds. And if you do that, your tree or bush won't get any growth this year. Coming up, a morning greeting that students will miss.
And up next in sports, a big early season high school golf tournament is underway in Brooklyn Park. Jay Wilcox has the story when we come back. Jay Wilcox joins us now with sports, and change is never easy, but they are going through some changes in a hockey program.
Yeah, former rivals are now going to be all teamed up, and I think ultimately it's a thing that had to happen, and just kind of the details need to be ironed out now. A big change is coming for the boys hockey programs in Robbinsdale District 281. Armstrong and Cooper will combine teams beginning next season. Cooper's numbers have dropped to a point where sustaining full varsity and JV teams alone was no longer an option. The proposal approved by the Robbinsdale School Board this week merges the two programs. Armstrong head coach Danny Charleston will be the new head coach, and the team will be called Armstrong Cooper, with a lot of other details still to be worked out.
The first step is saying this is who we are, maybe showing them the logo or showing them this is who you are now. What you were in the past is the past, and we understand that there's a lot of emotions with parents and players, and I'm a hockey coach, my staff loves hockey, and the players who want to play hockey will play hockey, regardless of the uniform, regardless of the colors, the hockey players will play. We're excited to get started and to start winning and kind of proving that this whole thing was worth it. We are excited for next year for sure.
Bill Rooney, who has been the Cooper head coach, will be an assistant on the staff. The team will play in the Northwest Suburban Conference, and you can see more of John Jacobson's interview with Danny Charleston starting Monday on Channel 12's Sports Jam show. It's one of the best regular season boys golf tournaments in the state each spring. Over 20 teams teed off this morning at the Tri-State Invitational at Edinburgh, USA in Brooklyn Park. This is Wayzata freshman Ben Frazzini letting it rip. A great approach shot coming up by Paul Stanky of Providence Academy on hole number 4. Stanky sticks it within a foot of the cup, and then he'll tap in for birdie from there. Wayzata's Van Holmgren rolls home a nice 15-foot putt for birdie right here on number 5 for the Trojans in this one. Providence's Jeff Laggett comes very close to sinking a long putt on hole number 7. Laggett will tap in from there on a nice afternoon for golf as they get set for round 2. Jack Holmgren shows why he's one of the state's best. Coming up for Wayzata, action continues Saturday with round 2 starting at 11:30 a.m. The Osseo Park Center girls lacrosse team won its home opener on a rainy night Wednesday. They played another one at home Thursday, this one against North St. Paul. The first half, Ariana Jones makes a nice run and fires a quick shot for an OPC goal. Maddie Malone passes to Andy Carlane, and she shoots and scores here for Osseo Park Center. And it's Malone racing to the goal, and she scores on a low shot this time for an 8-2 OPC lead. Still in the first half, Erica Edstrom with a nice pass to Ariana Marciniak on the doorstep. She scores for Osseo Park Center. They lead 15-6 at halftime and go on to win it 23-10. They are now 2-1. It's a busy weekend for young volleyball players in the area and around Minnesota. Raleigh Sports Center in Maple Grove is one of the sites in the metro for the North Country Region Area Volleyball Championships. Over 825 teams are competing at sites in Minnesota and 2 neighboring states.
It's a large event that the local office of USA Volleyball, it's called North Country Region Office, hosts, and they actually host it here in the metro area, but they have one in many cities in North Dakota, South Dakota, and up in St. Cloud and Bemidji. It's kind of all over the place. So,
Action runs Saturday and Sunday in various age groups. Champlain Park High School is another local site for the tournament. There's also a big national qualifier tournament at the Minneapolis Convention Center this weekend. And all of these players excited because Minneapolis will be the site for nationals coming up this summer.
Yes.
So quite a big deal coming
Draw
up.
a big crowd, yeah. Thanks a lot, Jay.
You're welcome.
Still ahead, a man who's known for his hellos will be saying goodbye.
He's not a teacher, but kids say he's had an impact on students, and we'll be right back. A longtime administrator is retiring after more than 40 years with the Osseo School District.
As reporter Shannon Slatton explains, staff and students know Roger Zeman as an example of the Crimson Way.
Good morning.
To get a morning boost.
Good morning.
At Maple Grove Senior High.
Good morning. Have a good Friday now.
You only have to step in the front door.
How you doing this morning?
He's just the first guy you see in the morning.
That's where you'll see Roger Zeman.
He stands in the front every morning when we walk in and says hi to everyone.
He's not a teacher.
How are you this morning?
But he calls himself a team player.
It's just natural for me to say good morning and give a warm smile.
He's a great guy, you know. He starts out your morning right. He's always saying hi. He always has a smile on his face.
Roger is always about the kids. I mean, he stands out there every morning.
I thought about that a couple of times. And how many times per day have I said good morning? Good morning.
Roger Zeman has spent more than 40 years in the Osseo School District.
Got the sunshine today, brother. Hey, thank you. I know it's all your doings.
He's been at Maple Grove Senior High since it was built.
Woo! Wow, look at you.
He's the business manager.
He is a person that really is one of those components that keeps this building running on a daily basis.
After this winter, the lure of more time with grandchildren and becoming a snowbird is just too strong.
If there's anything I'm going to miss, will be the interaction with students and the teachers.
So in June, instead of saying hello,
Good morning.
Roger will say goodbye.
His heart and soul is invested in this building. And so I know it's going to be hard for him to leave, and it's going to be hard for us to let him go.
It'll be bittersweet. You just don't walk away and think that you will not miss it. I will miss it.
But perhaps Roger's legacy is that a morning smile is how to start every Crimson Day.
Hopefully someone will follow in his footsteps and keep the tradition going at Maple Grove.
In Maple Grove, Shannon Slatton.
Good morning.
12 News.
Good morning. Enjoy the day.
Have a good weekend, everyone.